Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore Morning Meditation. I invite you just to breathe in deeply right in the place, in the space where you are, for this vilifying together. Just using our breath, knowing as we breathe in, it signals our body to relax. So I invite you to just lower your gaze or close your eyes. And just breathe in the divinity that is life. This gift of breath that we sometimes take for granted, but is always present, as is the divine essence that we are. So as you're breathing in deeply, just allow yourself to establish this pattern. Deep breath in and exhale until it becomes just right for you. Knowing that right where you are is a sacred place, is a sacred space. This moment is all for you to enjoy. So I want you to just check in with your body and see if there's any place that maybe you're holding tension. And as you breathe in, just take that breath to that place in that space. Just breathe in and allow that tension to release from your body. You can pick it up anytime later you choose, but for right now, we're just letting that tension go. We're just breathing in the magnificence of this gift. We're breathing in and allowing it to just vibrate and resonate throughout our whole entire body. So I want to work on the practice of Ho'oponopono. This has come up for me in several ways in classes that I've been taking with Reverend Ray and Dr. Ronnie. And it is a practice that can be used really anytime. Sometimes at night when I can't sleep, I just go into this practice of Ho'oponopono. And it's done in a variation of ways, but this is the way that I'll be introducing it. So, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's a Hawaiian practice around forgiveness and around connection. Ho, meaning to make, and pono, meaning right. Ho'opono, to make right. And the repetition of pono means to make doubly right. Or for me, I like to think of maybe doing it over and over again. It's always right. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry and forgive me clears negative thoughts without judgment. There's a quote that says, resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Letting go does not excuse behavior. It's just an opening to the possibility of letting go of pain. Thank you is showing gratitude. This is a powerful way to practice abundance. Acceptance, even in painful situations, demonstrates gained wisdom. You go the strong attitude in your heart. You are fortified and made stronger. I love you. Love is the creative power of the universe. It is what we are created from and the truth of our being. In love, we find our authenticity. As we take notice of our breath, let's just visualize ourselves surrounded in light, immersed in this light, in the flow of this light, in this healing light, in this sacred, secure light. I invite you to continue breathing deeply and use your breath as we say aloud, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. We're going to use this practice for ourselves. It's important to pay attention to your thoughts and feelings. Let them come up. Let whatever come up that's appearing within your body, your mind, your emotions, without any judgment. Release your attachment to judgment. Say it. Feel it. Sense it. Sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. For any time I've harmed myself or another through my thoughts, words, and deeds, breathing in deeply, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Just let yourself work through whatever scenario comes up in recognition of your true divinity. This is where your power lies. This is the beauty and truth of who you are. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am an eternal spiritual being, as are all others. Everyone, the divine manifestation of the One. In any ways, I have not recognized this. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Sometimes when we have anger or resentment in our hearts, we don't want to forgive. We want to hold on to that. When we sense this, we say, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Just let any discord come to the surface as you chant this, knowing that you can never be separated from your divine truth. The truth of your being is always there. And as you do this work and this shadow side comes up, We know that there's divinity in this, that there's power in this, that we recognize that everything is conspiring to show us the truth of our being in relationship to the one and relationship to each other and community. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. See how this feels in your body. See how it resonates and vibrates. Is there somewhere specific that you sense it? Does something pop into your head? Just bring your awareness to this. Saying, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, as we have done this for ourselves, as we teach it in this teaching, what we do for ourselves, we add to the collective consciousness of knowing. And now we can deliberately do this for others. So if you're able to, making sure that you always feel safe and secure. Think about others, ways they have harmed you. Whatever comes to mind, whoever comes to mind, bless them. They're really showing you something about yourself and your choices. So we choose. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Using this practice helps to clear resentment and hurt. It does not forgive others' behavior. It just is the power. And that this behavior you've been holding on to. Releasing this, letting go. I invite you to bring and call to mind all those that you find trouble with. Trouble in your relationships, trouble in work, trouble as you're driving your car, highway, trouble with those that you meet, trouble with those that you disagree with in this environment, in this 2020 of great revelations of this chaos, of this dynamic, of the magnificence that is coming forward and expressing itself by revealing what it no longer serves and works for us. I invite you to call all this to mind as you know and repeat. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. If you want, you can put your hands over your heart. Feel the resonance in your voice as you say these words. Let the vibration move through your body, cleansing, clearing, releasing, opening up and making space for the glorious divine essence that you are to shine through in each and every moment. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can use this practice when you feel yourself in an uncomfortable situation. You can use it to boost your gratitude for people, our community, our country.
Sue.
We know the truth of our being. We know that we are this essence of divine truth, of divine light, of divine love, of divine law, of divine peace. It's what we are. It's why we come together. We are in recognition of this truth, and we are walking that truth. And we are beautiful. We are resonating. We are a community that welcomes all. We are a community that is inviting everyone to know the truth of who they are and to express that in each and every moment. As we do this for ourselves, we do this for others. We are acting and we are participating in a collective conscious evolution, dare I say revolution, that is revealing the truth of our being, the truth of why we are here, the deep beauty and resonant harmony. And I am so grateful for this. I give gratitude and thanks for this day. I give gratitude and thanks for this season of reflection, for this season of a chance to just go within, to go deeper, to know, to allow, to express, to be the divine that shows up in each moment. And when it doesn't, to choose again. That's where our power lies. Our power lies whenever we breathe in consciously and connect to this beautiful truth of the oneness of all of life. And then as we see it in ourselves, and we take that and we see it in other people, even when they don't see it in themselves, and we recognize the divinity that is within, what a beautiful world is being created. What a beautiful world is being transformed and transmortified. And we are actively a part of it. I'm grateful for this work. I'm grateful for this understanding. I'm grateful for being part of a community that is so deep rooted in love and coming together in celebration of all of our differences, knowing that there's imperfection in each one of us, and it's all God, it's all good. I'm just grateful for this. And I release this into law because I know that it is done. It's done unto me as I believe. I know that it's done on as I ask and request and declare and demand. That divine energy which created each one of us, that said yes to the manifestation of itself through each one of us, says yes to us in each and every moment. And it is a moment of power and clarity and recognition and surrender and trust. We are the faith of God expressing. We are the beauty of God expressing. We trust and surrender that the highest and best good is unfolding for each and every one of us, for our families, for our country, for our community, for this world, for this universe. We are blessed and so blessed. We are here on purpose. Know and recognize this and step into this with gratitude and release and surrender and watch the beauty unfold. All is well in my world. All is well. Thank you. I love you. And so it is.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 See ya humba, humba, see ya humba. Oh, see ya humba, cooking in your clothes. We are marching. We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are shining from the light within. 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 See ya, Kanga, oh, see ya, Kanga, Kanga. We are shining, oh, we are shining from the light within. We are living 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 from the light within. We are living, oh, we are living from the light within. We are living, oh, we are living from the light within. Say humble, we are humble. We are loving from the light within. 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 Say no, oh, say we are loving, oh, we are loving from the light within. We are loving, we are living, we are shining from the light within. We are marching, oh, we are marching from the light, walking from the light, living from the light within.
All right, so welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. I am your host for today. My apologies, interpreters. My name is Tracy Rhymes. Our senior minister is the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. He's our speaker today. Deletta Gillespie is our musician. And serving as practitioner who led the pre-service meditation is Sue Monahan. Assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community are our sign language interpreters, Ashley Goldman and Faith Moore. Working behind the scenes, holding things down, keeping us safe and secure are Frank, Matthew, and Jim Lefter. And on behalf of Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, thank you for your service today. If I can catch up with my own slides, there we go. All right. Now, before Sue sets the tone and grounds us in prayer, let me share this about her. Sue's been a part of this teaching since 2004. She's been a practitioner since 2013. She believes that we are the point of power in our lives, that our essence is spiritual and it is good. It is her desire to let Spirit reveal this wonderful truth through her. Sue is committed to CSLGB's vision that we are demonstrating a world that works for all, one life affirming thought, word, feeling, deed, and one human interaction at a time. We all make a difference in other people's lives. May our light shine for all to see.
Good to be here. Just being so grateful for this day as we pray into this service in this wonderful community. Just breathing in the wholeness and the healthiness and the vibrancy, taking in this breath and grounding and rooting ourselves in this place, in this space, in this Zoom environment where we are physically distanced, but we are connected. We are connected as a community that knows itself as the divine, loving presence of the one infinite power. However we do that, however we know that, through Christ consciousness, the Buddha, Force, Klingon, whatever it is, it's only one, and we are it. We are the divine demonstration of the one as it's made manifest through each one of us. And this is so beautiful. I'm so grateful for coming together today to share this place and space, to hear this divine revelation and message through our own Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, for the magical, mystical, beautiful music of Deletta Gillespie, for our sign language interpreters, for Tracy as the host and behind the scenes gurus, giving gratitude and thanks for this day, giving gratitude and thanks for knowing this truth, giving gratitude and thanks for this season, giving gratitude and thanks for all. It is all the essence of God unfolding through each and every one of us, through this loving community, this accepting community. All is well. It is good. We declare it to be so, and so it is.
Awesome. And so it is. Thank you so very much, Sue. The Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's community, honors the world's religions. One tree, many branches, one mountain, many paths. One world, many religions and spiritual traditions. With the lighting of these candles on the first Sunday of each month, we not only honor each person on their select path, but we also bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of Spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, and in each person. A few announcements for you. We currently have 2 weekly ongoing ways to study, learn, and discuss. Wednesday nights, we have the Science of Mind textbook exploration group facilitated by Reverend Dr. Ray. And on Thursday nights, the study group facilitated by Dr. Ronnie Ellington. And there are other things going on. So if you check out the newsletter and the website, you'll hear all the other great things happening. Here's a friendly reminder that the 2021 spiritual journals are in. You can get your copy today by going to shop.csl.org. Virtual holiday festivities. If you're interested in planning something, you still have time. Send an email at info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org to arrange and schedule. If you are interested in becoming a member or renewing your membership, the Discovery class is available online. Contact us at info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org for more information. Sign up That newsletter I spoke about. Sign up to get all the good things that's going on, and hear about them and read about them and see about them. At www.cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Subscribe also to CSL Greater Baltimore's YouTube page, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can visit us at cslgreaterbaltimore.org and the CSLGB Facebook page for more news and information. A very important note, today following service, we will have a board meeting. Everyone is encouraged to attend if at all possible. All right, on 3, if you're new, we say prayer works on 3. 1, 2, 3, prayer works. And we know it does because it got us through that technical challenge we experienced today. We as a community to continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Practitioners are available after today's service for one-on-one prayer, and prayer requests can be sent at any time to info@greaterbaltimore.org. If you were with us earlier, you got a little taste of her. If you wasn't, then you get a little taste now. Our musician today is Deletta Gillespie. Deletta is a multidisciplinary teaching and performing artist, playwright, singer, songwriter, and recording artist. Her stage debut came in her mother's nightclub act at age 6. And she's been on and around the stage ever since. Her roles back and off stage include writing, director, stage manager, and production assistant. While earning an MFA in theater arts at Towson University, Deletta discovered a passion for creating performance and programs that inspire and evoke courageous conversations and challenging issues. There is so much more that Deletta's doing. Check out her website at DELETTAGILLESPIE.com. I give you Deletta.
Good morning, everyone, once again, and thank you. The time for war begins. Time for down just yeah, there ain't much difference between you and me. The time for begins. When you do somebody wrong, right? The world full of hate, be a light. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La la la, la la. In a place that needs to change, make it different. Time of noise, just listen. This life is full of praise, benefits. In a place that needs to change, make it different. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La la la, la la la, la la la. In a race you can't win, slow it down. 'Cause on this leg of the trip you've only got one round. 'Cause the finish line will soon be found. So in a race you can't win, slow it down. In a world full of hate, somebody gon' make you cry. Don't hide in the dark for more to shine. The world will make light. Yeah, it's hard to live in color when you just see black and white and a world full of hate. Be alive.
Thank you, Diletta. All right. So at this time, Sue Monahan will lead us in a spiritual practice.
Just invite everybody to settle in right where you are. Right in this place and space that you are is sacred. You are perfect, whole, and complete. You are safe and secure. So I invite you to just close your eyes or lower your gaze. And let's start with our breath work, just breathing in deeply. If it helps, breathe into the count of 4. And then breathe out. Just breathing in and establishing a pattern that works for you. Taking in this divine breath, this divine gift. Scanning your body and releasing any tension, the tension that we hold in our shoulders and our face. And let's just let ourselves smile. Let's just let that form on our face. The goodness of breathing in and relaxing. The goodness of taking this time for self. Feeling this breath, experiencing this moment. I want you to begin by seeing yourself surrounded, just draped in a beautiful light. It's your beautiful inner light. Breathe in deeply, knowing each breath is a divine gift. Feel the divine energy flowing in as and through you. Breathing in the love that you are. Affirming, I am love, I am loved, I am loving. Breathe in and know that every breath is a sacred breath. Every breath fortifies us. Every breath empowers every cell and fiber of our being. Conscious breath is our divine connection. Conscious breath is the point of power and choice. Conscious breath used in any moment. Conscious breath is our light. Breathing in divine flow as divine flow itself. Seeing this light surround, enfold, illuminate, and enlighten us to our true magnificence. And we smile. Our smile is our outward expression of divinity. It lights up our face and our eyes. The Sufi poet Hafez said, "Oh, wondrous creatures, by what strange miracle do you so often not smile? Smile and feel the radiance of your magnificent self. So right here and now, we know the truth of our being. We breathe it in. We know who we are, and we know that we are connected to that divine energy that created all life and called it good. We are the perfection of manifestation of this life in this 3D earth bodysuit. We are born to make manifest the glory of spirit here and now, in this present moment, with each present breath. And when we miss the mark, we just start over again. We can release judgment and lack and limitation because our star, our light always shines. We're born of this creative energy. We are created out of stardust. We are the magnificence of the universe. And our power lies in knowing it. We smile. Even behind a mask, we smile and our face lights up. Our magnificence is known. And as we come together as community to celebrate that, there's a power and a resonance that we know, that we feel, that incites us and invites us to go deeper, to know the sweet, sweet truth of our being and all other beings. It's all spirit made manifest and is good, so good. We are grateful. We are thankful. We celebrate this day and each other. And we release, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sue. All right. It is time. Sit back, sit up, grab your notepad, pen, or pencil. The next voice you will hear, looking sharp as a tack, will be that of our senior minister's Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. Reverend Rev has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man. One look at his resume and the reason becomes clear. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and self-awakening, he lives his bliss as a teacher, mentor, speaker, minister, and so much more. His mission is to live, move, and be an active, which is an acronym, authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, emancipate, awaken, and empower people and communities. Come on, Rev, and bring it.
Gracias.
De nada.
Okay, folks. So, what a morning, huh? What a morning! Wow. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump right on in. So today we are talking about cultivating the light. Cultivating light, period. And we've already discussed the shadow and the darkness and the importance of embracing rather than vilifying, as well as the importance of balancing that which is the darkness or the shadow with the light. But what is this mysterious thing that we are referring to when we say light? What is the light? And how do we celebrate and honor this light that we speak of? What does it mean to cultivate the light in ourselves, of ourselves, as ourselves, that we might illuminate or illumine the world? So let's jump right on in, if you are ready. Cultivate. So what does it mean to cultivate? Whatever it is that we are cultivating, generically and in general, it is to prepare and to use something such as land for crops or gardening. But we're talking about light. So preparing and using light for whatever one uses light for. To acquire or develop a quality, a sentiment, or a skill. So what is the skill? What is the quality of light that we are embodying and expressing? and then applying oneself to improving or developing this thing that we are referring to as light. Now, ultimately, that which is the light needs no development or improving. But the manner in which we are embodying it and expressing it moment by moment, breath by breath, therein lies the practice. How do we continue to apply ourselves in the development of, moment by moment, developing, applying, accentuating this thing that is the light? Now, what is the light? The truth of oneself. It is your higher self, it is love, it is your spiritual magnificence. So if we backtrack and we say, so then cultivating is, how do we prepare or apply the higher self in moment by moment interactions? How do we apply, how do we nurture love? How do we apply or nurture or make use of our spiritual magnificence, moment by moment, day by day, breath by breath? Like, therein lies the question or the invitation in this whole idea of cultivating light, is how do we, one, recognize and acknowledge what the light is. The light is the truth of our divine being. It is the essence of all that we are showing up. Now, how do I bring that awareness to my regular, everyday living, moving, and being? So if I'm at school, how do I bring the light to my school? How do I bring it to my classroom as teacher or as student? How do I embody it and express it? How do I choose to be the light? How do I choose to be love? How do I choose to be a demonstration of my higher self? How do I choose to be my true self? How do I choose to be spiritual magnificence? Therein lies the thing. Now, how do I cultivate that? How do I till the soil of my mind? How do I till the soil of my life, my job, my family, my interactions? How do I work the soil so that this truth is free to grow and be expressed, so that I am known by that which I am now producing? I am known by the fruits that I am growing on the tree. How do I do that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. So for a real quick moment, let us look at the images that you see. And if I were to ask you, what is it that you're looking at? Now, some of you may say it's artwork. Some of you may say they're drawings. Like, there's a variety of things. You may even break it down and say, well, it's a letter, and it's a sphere, and it's a cube, and it's levitating, and whatever. But what many people will say is that these are optical illusions. They're illusions. And the question is, are they really? Are they illusions? Or are they what we refer to as illusions? Because Ernest Holmes says in the Science of Mind textbook, form is entirely in the realm of effect. Form comes and goes, but it is not self-knowing. Form is within the formless. Form is not an illusion, even when it is the form of disease. It then represents a false conclusion, but is as real as it is supposed to be. Pause and breathe, because I know we are real quick sometimes to say, well, this world is just an illusion, and this circumstance or this effect or this condition is simply an illusion. But if we're going to take the words of Ernest Holmes in this teaching to heart, then we recognize it's not an illusion, it's an effect. And the effect is as real as it is supposed to be. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's go a little further with Holmes says in Ideas of Power, I believe everything is as real as it is supposed to be. If a person hurts, he hurts. If he feels badly, he cries. There is want, lack, and apparent limitation in human experience, and there is no use denying it. But perhaps it doesn't need to be. Perhaps it is not intended to be. So then the invitation then becomes, if there is, whatever this is, disease, pain, suffering, etc., if we don't want that experience, if we don't want that thing to show up in form, if we don't want whatever it is to be in this world that works for all, then what is our invitation? Is our invitation not then to change the form, to change the idea, to, as Sue mentioned in the pre-service meditation, and Deletta mentioned in the song she just sang, there's a particular word, and that word is right. Sue said, ho'oponopono is to make doubly right, to manifest that which is doubly right, right to the second power. And I don't remember the specific line that Deletta used the word right in, but it was right as in bringing awareness and changing the consciousness of. So if we don't want this whatever this is, this experience, this form, this condition, this circumstance, if we don't want to experience it, we don't want it to be, then we change the form. We think rightly. We change the idea. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. We change the idea, anchor it into law, think it, speak it, feel it, and act accordingly, and it must change. Ernest Holmes says in the Science of Mind textbook, ye are the light of the world. People are a candle of the Lord. How important it is that this light be kept trimmed. This is cultivating the light. That the light be kept trimmed and burning with the oil of pure spirit, through the wick of peace and joy. In this way do we glorify that indwelling power and presence that is love, that is light, that is joy. But our invitation, our cultivating of it is the constant work of remembering, reminding ourselves, realigning ourselves, regrounding ourselves, and then living accordingly from that space. Living accordingly from that awareness. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, what lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. What is it that is within us and is the essence of our being? Truth, power, love, joy, bliss. So what he's saying is, whatever has happened before in your experience of whatever is happening currently is of, while important, it is not as important as what you know to be the truth of your being. So you may experience failure in the stock market, but if you know yourself to be connected to and an expression of the infinite overflow of prosperity, wealth, and abundance, then failing in the stock market is merely an experience. It is a form that you can change by making it right, or doubly right, by changing the consciousness connected to it, by cultivating the light. So failure in the stock market, cultivating the light is cultivating what it means to be the infinite success of the universe expressing itself as you. Cultivating the I know that though I may have failed in school, I may have failed in relationship, I may have failed financially, that which I am can never fail, therefore I can never be a failure. Cultivating the light. Cultivating one's success mindset, cultivating one's true mindset, cultivating the infinite mindset of divine intelligence, the divine influx of divine right action, creative action, power and presence. There's a story, for those who may not know, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. There's a story of the moment that Siddhartha became enlightened. Mara, king of demons, and his minions, the demon horde, showed up. And Mara was like, ha ha, I'm the one who's enlightened. I'm the one who knows. And Siddhartha says basically, no. And there's a mudra where his left hand, which you can see in the image, his left hand is placed at his navel and his right hand reaches down past the lotus throne and his fingertips touch the ground, touch the earth. And the earth itself rumbles forth and testifies and says, Siddhartha is enlightened. The earth itself. There's a passage in the Bible that says, if we do not praise God, then the rocks themselves will praise. The earth itself, in that moment, roared forth the truth of Siddhartha, the truth of the Buddha, and claimed, this person is now awakened, and I stand. I, as the earth, stand in witness and in celebration of his awakening. And Mara and the demons were like, oh snap, and they left. They vanished and went back to wherever it is that they come from. Are we willing to testify? Are we willing to stand in the space between? Are we willing to get in good and necessary trouble? Are we willing to do what many others have shown is possible by stepping into the truth of who and what I am has something that is called to be and do in the world? I'm not simply here to be someone who sits on a chair. I'm not simply here to deliver the mail. I'm not just here to balance my checkbook. Each of us, as the divine light of creation, is here to do something specific that is ours to do. And we have many representations of others who have stepped into the space of there is work. There is that which I am called to make right. There is that which I am called to bring peace where there is war, to bring calm to confusion, to bring love to all. I am called to cultivate my light, my divine magnificence, and then to walk the walk and show up accordingly. But this is a really challenging thing to do if we don't believe, if we choose to buy into, well, but who I pretend to be, or who do I on some level have convinced myself that I am? Like, who do I believe myself to be? Why do I believe myself to be that? When I walk about in the world, who do I pretend that I am? And why do I pretend? In the grand scope of the world, when we walk around and we ask and we look at things and we say, well, who do they say that I am? Who do our friends say that I am? Does our family say that I am? Who we are around, those 5 closest friends, who do they say that I am? And that's partly important, but the more important question is, who do you say that I am? When you say, I am Sue, I am Frank, I am Deletta, I am Kenny, I am Tracy, I am Martina, I am. All of us, who, when we say I am, who are we saying we are? The passage in the Bible, in Luke, it says, one day as Jesus was praying in private and the disciples were with him, he questioned them, who do the crowds say that I am? And they replied, some say you're John the Baptist. Which is interesting that they're saying that he is these people who have, so apparently the disciples believed in reincarnation, but that's for a different day and time. Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others that a prophet of old has arisen. But what about you? Jesus asked. Who do you say that I am? And Peter answered, you are the Christ of God. You are the light of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. When each of us stands in the mirror and each of us moves throughout our day and moves throughout our life experiences, who do each of us say that I am? Do we declare and affirm that I am generous, I am abundance, I am kind, I am resourceful, I am? What do we say about ourselves? Our words have power. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the feelings that rise. This is how we cultivate the light of our being. Who do I say that I am? Do I say that I am weak, I am sick, I am broke, I am a failure? Or do we say I am successful? I am so successful that even when I fail at something, my success moves me forward through the failures until the success that I know demonstrates accordingly. Because we know that there are people who have failed. Michael Jordan failed. Einstein failed. Edison failed. Oprah failed. There are many people who have failed in their lives, and yet their knowing I am moved them. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King moved them. Rosa Parks moved them. Harriet Tubman moved them. Harvey Milk moved them. From failure to failure until the truth of their being was made right by their knowing. How are we choosing to know and to cultivate accordingly? Eckhart Tolle says, because we have to talk about this, Eckhart Tolle says there is only one perpetrator of evil on the planet: human consciousness. With this realization, your victim identity dissolves and your true power emerges. Instead of blaming the darkness, you bring the light. So once again, it's about balancing. You don't blame the darkness, you don't vilify the darkness, but you balance it by bringing the light, cultivating the light, bringing the truth of your being to bear on any circumstance and situation. And so, when we look out into the world and we see various ways that evil manifests, what do we choose to know? And more importantly, who do we choose to be in the face of this? And in being what we are being, now how do we make right the human consciousness that has created the outpicturing of war, death, destruction, etc.? Cultivating our light is not about spiritual masturbation. It is not simply about what makes each of us individually feel good. It's about being goodness in the world. And then thinking it, speaking it, feeling it, and walking the walk so that we are now demonstrating, we are making right. We are making right by how we show up and cultivate, how we speak truth, how we are being the very embodiment of this truth. Speaking truth to pseudo power. Because this isn't actual power. This is human consciousness that has gone awry, where people are using the very same creative principle, but they are using it in a less enlightened and less mature manner. In the same way that Mara showed up before Siddhartha Gautama, and Mara claimed to have power over the prince, and the prince awoke and said no, and the earth testified to this awareness that no, Mara, no evil, no demons and minions of less than consciousness, less than truth. No, you are not the power and presence of the all that is. And then the demons, Mara and his minions, faded into obscurity. And the moment we know and touch and agree in the same way that all of creation now testifies to what we now recognize about ourselves, because God knows already. The infinite I am presence that is breathing us knows the truth about itself, and it never doubts. But we doubt, because we say things like, I am broken, I am so miserable, I am an addict, I am a bad parent, I am a horrible minister, I am. We declare these things from a less than enlightened, less mature state of being. And when we affirm those, then that's what we demonstrate. But what we're called to now do is recognize and cultivate from a new level of awareness, a new state of consciousness, a new place of being in the world and how we show up in the world, so that Mara and the minions fade into obscurity, so that the truth of our being, the light of our being, the light of the infinite I am that is ever becoming, is now what is demonstrating and making a world that works for all. The Dalai Lama says, inner darkness, which we call ignorance, is the root of suffering. The more inner light that comes, the more that ignorance, the darkness, the more that ignorance will diminish. This is the only way to achieve salvation or nirvana. So ignorance is what created Hitler. Ignorance is what fuels the Klan. Ignorance is what makes people racist and sexist and homophobic. Ignorance. And so when we touch and agree, and all of creation testifies to the truth of our being, then the ignorance must fade and diminish, and then salvation or nirvana or emancipation from every discord of every nature, we're emancipated from it. We have made right. Pause for a second, because I want to share something that came up in our Wednesday night class. At the very end of chapter 6, Ernest Holmes says, such is the power of right thinking, that it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth, bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in a celestial glory. It is the absolute with which we are dealing and nothing else. It is the absolute light, the absolute truth with which we are dealing and nothing else. It is love that we are dealing with and nothing else. It is peace that we are dealing with and nothing else. It is the power of knowing who and what we are that we are dealing with and nothing else. Cultivating light. Realizing and recognizing who and what you are. Do the work that you are called to do to realize and recognize who and what you are. Accepting and acting from what you are capable of. No longer accepting or acting from what you believed about yourself as less than capable, less than joy-filled, less than possible, less than qualified. Accepting and acting from what you are truly capable of, which means suspending any doubt and trusting that just because I don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. That if I have the idea in my mind, then it is already in the mind of God. And so what I am called to do to cultivate this is engage in the variety of spiritual practices that will help me nurture and nourish this way of being. And there are a vast number of spiritual practices. How do I engage in them so that I am cultivating what I am capable of, the infinite possibilities and potentialities of my being? And how do I realize and recognize who and what I truly am? How do I touch the earth and let the earth agree that I am awakened and ever awakening, because there is no end to the awakening. It is I am awakening each moment in each breath and each thought, moment by moment, day by day, week by week, year by year, infinity into infinity, right made more right and more right and more right. How am I choosing to do this? This week's practice and application, we ask ourselves, what is the light of my being? What does it mean to know my light? What does it look like to shine my light? And what happens when I dim my light? We ask ourselves, what are my spiritual practices? What are my daily spiritual practices? What are my weekly spiritual practices? And what does each practice do for me? Because practicing simply for the sake of practicing while yes, it will serve a purpose, but if, for example, if I go into the kitchen and cook ham just for the sake of cooking ham, simply because I'm going to cook, nobody in this house is going to eat it.
That's
Tracy
right.
don't eat. What you say, Tracy?
That's right.
Tracy said, that's right. Tracy ain't going to eat it, and I ain't going to eat it. So what is the point in, you can't say, but Tracy, I cooked. And she's going to say, yeah, for who? So for me to just say, but Tracy, I meditated. For the purpose of what? But I prayed. For the purpose of what? Mm-hmm. To just say you did it just to check off a box to say, yay, I did it, now move on, isn't enough. There must be a what is the practice doing for me? What is it doing through me? How is it cultivating who and what I am? If I do not have a consistent practice, what is the reason, and am I ready and willing to change that? That's the invitation. And then lastly, what will I do this week to cultivate the light? Will I sign up for a class? Will I join a study group or a book discussion group? Will I request prayer? Will I have a meaningful contemplative conversation with someone? What will I do this week? Our declaration and affirmation for today is, I'll say it first and then together. I joyously and courageously walk in the light. And that very easily could say walk as the light. My consciousness is illumined. I let my light shine. Together, I joyously and courageously walk in the light. My consciousness is illumined. I let my light shine. And we breathe. We breathe and we welcome yet another magnificent, brilliant light in the form of and in the body of and in the talent of Deletta, who is about to grace us with her light and her passion and her gift. Put it together, put your hands together, and welcome Deletta as she gifts us with music.
Peace for no reason. Love every moment. Light shines wherever
Choice.
faith in the darkness. Open seasons. Love every moment. Light shines wherever we are. Every day's a choice to show some kindness. We're all a part, one family, so connected. Our hearts and spirits. I reach out, you reach out for me. You said my seasons, love every moment. Light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, joy, joy in our hearts. Now it's time to come together to count the blessings. Oh, we are grateful. Let us have voices in one chorus. My brother and my sister, let's celebrate two seasons. Love every moment. Shine, shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, 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 joy in our homes. You gotta be that light, shine that light. Celebrate peace, let's celebrate love, let's celebrate light that shines, shine, shines. Let's celebrate faith, let's celebrate hope, let's celebrate joy, joy in our hearts. Just for we see, love every moment, light shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness, hope in the silence, joy, joy in our hearts. You gotta have peace in all seasons. Love every moment, shine, it shines wherever we are. Faith in the darkness, hope in the silence. Gotta have joy, joy in our hearts. Joy, joy in our hearts. Joy, joy in our hearts. In our hearts. Say joy, we're talking about peace in all seasons. No reasons, we're talking about peace. Let's talk about love. Oh, let that light shine wherever you are. Open the silence and joy. Be that la 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 la.
Oh yeah. Thank you oh so much, Deletta. So we breathe and just let every note just marinate and like resonate to every cell of our being. Wow. So today has been quite an interesting service. I offer my apologies to the interpreters. I offer my I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you and I love you to our interpreters today, because both Tracy and I this thing called mouth has been speedballing through stuff because we started late because of technical difficulties, and we wanted to make sure that people got out of service on time and not at 3:30. So, I know that Ashley's hands, and Faith's hands have been on fire this morning. So just simply extending gratitude to them for everything that they do.
Thank you for hanging in there.
Yeah, amen to that. So at this time of service, we recognize the infinite overflow of wealth, prosperity, abundance as it shows up in all of the ways that it shows up in this beloved, amazing, and beautiful community. Recognizing that it shows up in the talent, in the tithes, in the time, in the treasure, in the all of the ways that we show up. Because see, recognize and understand that we can have $4.9 million in the bank. But if we got one volunteer, one minister, one practitioner, and one congregant, we ain't doing very much out in the world, right? So we have to recognize that each of us in how we show up as healthy and whole, light-bearing beings of love and power is all of what we bring to this community. All of the ways that we are giving of our time, talent, tithe, treasure, like all of that is how we bless this beloved community. So at this time, we recognize the practitioners have raised, or the intention, because some of y'all are new. I spotted that there's at least 2 new people who are joining us today. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to email me or anybody here at CSL Greater Baltimore so we can answer any questions. Thank you for joining, and we pray that we will see you again.
Yep.
So for the new folks, the practitioners who are the ecclesiastical prayer arm, spiritual leaders of CSL Greater Baltimore, pledged on top of their already tithing regular consistent stuff to raise an additional $5,000 for the center by the end of December. And we are so overjoyed to announce that as of a couple days ago, the amount was $5,022.50. So we've already surpassed the $5,000 mark. December ain't over yet.
Woo!
Wink, wink.
Woo!
And the community thus far has matched to $1,400. And December ain't over yet. And let us be reminded that we have an anonymous donor who said that they will match up to $5,000, whatever the community has pledged or matched. So thus far, the community matched $1,400, so the anonymous person will match $1,400 as well. So keeping in mind that there are a variety of ways that we are demonstrating what it means for CSL Greater Baltimore as a global center to expand into. And we are doing more of that work, and we are inviting each of you, like Tracy said, as she's announcements today, that there is a board meeting today, and the board meetings are open and welcome to all. You don't have to be a board member.
Come on.
You don't even have to be a member of the community as of yet to attend the board meetings. They are open and accessible and transparent to all. So feel free to join in and see how you may also serve.
Yep, come on.
But regarding donating and tithing, there are 3 ways you can do so: through PayPal, text messaging, or the postal mail. If you want more information, you can always go to our website to find more information about how to give, how to donate, how to tithe. Or if you have questions about, well, why am I tithing, or what does my money go to, or how is this helping to run the center, or like what's this for? What's the money for? Like, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask. We are more than welcome to let you know. But we tithe, 1, where we are spiritually fed, where we are uplifted and inspired. And we also tithe or donate into the center because it's a business, and there are technical things like marketing, a new building, equipment, etc., that the money also, what did you say, Tracy? Lights. Like there's also the technical nuts and bolts of how to run a business. So the donating, the tithing go into both of these, just so you know. And we are working towards building, manifesting, and demonstrating a great many things, like a youth ministry and satellite ministries in Baltimore City and the surrounding greater Baltimore area and beyond, because we have connections in a variety of states, in a variety of cities, in a variety of countries. And so we want to keep these bridges of connection open. Together, let us declare our prosperity declaration. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. So good, so good, so good, so good to be with everyone. At this moment of service, Tracy reminds us all to make today an awesome day, to do whatever you need to do. Like first be awesome, and then what will follow from that is you'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, be it. Be awesome. Be great. Be magnificent. Be that shining light. I'm reminded of that concept because Dana invited me and a couple other people to this, basically it's a mastermind group. It's not what they call it, but that's what resonated for me. Mastermind group on Thursday night, and the theme, the idea that I caught hold of this past Thursday was to remind myself and be reminded of. I mean, I do it now, but just as an extra to make doubly right, be what it is you want to be in the world. And then the doing and the other stuff will come. But you can't focus on the doing. Focus on a human being light, a human being love, a human who is being their divine magnificence in expression as awesomeness in the flesh. And clearly, if that's what you are being, then that's what you're thinking. That's what you're speaking. That's what you're feeling. That's the walk that you're walking, and it's what you're going to do. So let's be awesome today, and then let every person, every path, every tree, every duck, every goose, everything we walk past, let it touch and agree and recognize not only our own awesomeness, but the awesomeness of it as well. And because of the time of year, let us be reminded, Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Dana, this is partly your fault. Season's greetings.
Season's greetings.
And very soon it will be Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
And at this point, I ask for prayer for me in this household. So pray for Tracy, please. Please. Okay, so thank you all for joining us. Reminder that you may request one-on-one prayer with the practitioner who is on duty today. Type prayer into the chat box. If you are simply staying for the board meeting, just stay on the call and you'll be in the board meeting once it begins, once Jim says, now let's start. And if you are attending both, just so we have an idea of time, like we don't want to start something while you're still praying. If you're staying for both prayer and the board meeting, then type both in the chat box and Tracy will know what to do accordingly. So that being said, blessings and amazing joy, love, light, and power to all. Recognizing right here that which is God, that which is the divine, that which is love, right here and right now is showing up in, through, and as every thought, every word, every action, every feeling. It is showing up in these bodies. It is showing up in and as all that we are being in the world. As we cultivate more and more of what it means to be God made flesh, what it means to be love incarnating itself, what it means to be awesomeness breathing itself. Recognizing this, we anchor this into the law that always says yes, knowing that this benediction, the spiritual practice, the sermon, the music, the pre-service meditation, all of this has simply been a declaration of the truth that we know about ourselves, that Spirit is already bringing more and more of into our lives. Because Spirit is already saying yes. The touch and agree has already occurred. The awakening, the quickening is right here and right now. And so we surrender it because we know the prayer is already answered. We simply accept and receive and say, and so it is.
And so
it is, everybody. Much love. And at this time, Frank and or Jim will open the lines of communication so you can spread love and say hello. Love y'all.